Hello and welcome everyone. This is a new episode of Africa Today. Today it's going to be a special episode covering the visit of Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, who is here in Egypt for an official visit, as he was received earlier in the morning by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in Al Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace. As an official reception was made for the Somali leader, the two presidents witnessed the guards of honor and the two national anthems of both Somalia and Egypt were played. The head of state, along with his high-ranking guest, held a press conference right after their summit talks, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said that Egypt is keen to continue supporting Somalia in all domains, particularly in the field of security, as Egypt was one of the first countries to recognize Somalia's independence back in the 1960s. The deeply rooted ties between Egypt and Somalia are historical, diving into history for thousands of years. And for his part, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, the Somali president, hailed the Egyptian stances towards Somalia and the efforts exerted by Egypt as a key player in the region to support Somalia in its challenges and fights against terrorism and extremism. The two African leaders discussed a number of issues of mutual concern, and they also spoke about the so-called Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, and the head of state stressed the Egyptian stance to reach a just and a fair settlement to the issue, taking into consideration that the best interest of the three peoples of Egypt, Sudan, and Ethiopia are the first priority, and that maintaining and preserving our water, our national security is also a priority. To shed more light on this visit and its importance and its timing, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Ambassador Souad Chalabi, former Assistant Foreign Minister for the African Affairs. Ambassador Chalabi, a very good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you for inviting me.
Ambassador Chalabi, tell us more about your vision regarding this visit, its timing, its significance, and the important topics which were on the agenda of talks between the two African leaders, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his Somali counterpart here in Cairo.
As you know, His Excellency Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud was re-elected. This is his second term, although it was between 2012-2017, and there was another leader of Somalia during that period. But the relations between the President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud and President Sisi were very strong during his tenure, the 4 years, and he has lot of contacts. He visited Egypt more than 4 times during his first term. So he's trying to restore his friendship and his relations between Somalia and Egypt that he started. As you know, Somalia is not only an African country, it's an Arab and Islamic country, member of the Arab League, member of the Islamic Conference. So it's a very important country in the Horn of Africa, historically, strategically, and economically also, because we have signed an MOU in 2015 for strengthening the relations between the two countries in the fields of health, of education, agriculture, of livestock, of fisheries, of trade. So we are trying to bring about initiatives of cooperation between the two countries in this visit.
Yes, and regarding security, regarding stability, when we talk about the Horn of Africa, we are talking about a very strategic location. And here, Somalia is a key player in this regard. How do you see the importance of this issue, and how do you see the importance which Egypt attached to the African stability at large and this part of Africa in specific?
Well, as you know, Somalia is one of the countries in the East African region, and it is starting now to become a member of the East African community of the African Union. And of course, it has suffered a lot during the past 20 years, whether it is piracy or whether it is Al-Shabaab, terrorist organization, who was working in Kenya and Somalia during the past years, and Egypt has been supporting the government of Somalia to combat terrorism and extremism in that regard. So it was helping a lot in the field of security, in the field of restoring stability and peace. And there is continuous cooperation in the exchange of security information and military intelligence between the two countries.
This was my coming question, Ambassador Chalabi, regarding the exchange of visits, the exchange of diplomatic delegations. For example, on behalf of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli was in Somalia in June to attend the inauguration ceremony of reinstating the Somali president for a second term, President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. How do you see the significance of this high-ranking delegation which participating in this event to send a message that Egypt is going all the time to be side by side with our African allies?
Well, as I told you, this is this country is a very important country for Egypt strategically, and that is why Prime Minister Madbouli was there to congratulate the President Sheikh Mahmoud for Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud for his inauguration, and to establish and boost the relations between the two countries, because, as you know, the previous president was seeking to curtail the relation between Egypt and Somalia. By replacing Turkey and replacing other countries in the region.
Yes.
Now this president has started to visit his neighboring countries. He has visited Emirates to also boost the relations with the Gulf countries and also with Egypt. So he has put his foot on the right track.
Yep. Well, Ambassador Saad Chalabi, former Assistant Foreign Minister for African Affairs, thank you very much for your input and have a very good day. Well, and we are still with our episodes, Africa Today. Egypt, alongside Senegal and Ghana, called G20 for granting permanent seat for the Black Continent. African Union spokesperson Eba Kalondo highlighted that the African Union needs to be presented in the G20, such as the European bloc. Let's have a closer look.
Egypt calls G20 to guarantee permanent seat for Africa. Egypt, alongside Senegal and Ghana, called the G20 for granting a permanent seat for Africa, according to a report by Bloomberg. Bloomberg highlighted that the Egyptian, Senegalese and Ghanaian ministers of finance sent a letter to the group asking for more African engagement in the light of the tragic jumps of energy and grain prices globally due to the Russian military operation in Ukraine. The letter that was sent to the G20 by Senegalese Economy Minister Amadou Hott, Ghanaian Finance Minister Ken Ofori Atta and Egyptian Finance Minister Mohamed Mayed said that having Africa as a member through the African Union will strengthen the G20, adding that increasing the continent's representation in the G20 deliberations will allow for continuity and a more responsive engagement. African Union spokesperson Eba Kalondo highlighted that the African Union needs to be represented in the G20, such as the European bloc, reflecting Africans should be fully represented at the world's key decision forums, not observers. The G20 can and must set the bar in this regard. It's worthy to mention that the International Committee of the Red Cross ICRC has issued an urgent warning about an increase in the number of the people suffering from the hunger globally. The ICRC has warned that Africa alone has about 346 million people who do not have enough food, representing a quarter of the continent's population, according to the German news agency.